Right, right. Now, the people usually say, I don't know, they call it hacking the system to buy
Mhm.
homes with little to no money.
Mhm.
Is that even possible, or is it just a clickbait?
It's a little bit of both. Okay. I mean, it
Right.
is possible. It is clickbait. Um,
Hey everyone, welcome to Mastering 203K Loans with Matrix Construction. This is Alreza, and I'm with um, one of the experts when it comes to 203K loans. Robbie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So before we get into all the questions and everything, could you please tell us a little about yourself?
Sure. My name is Robbie Mahalati. I've been in construction probably more than 30 years. The way I got into construction was my father was in construction. He built water towers. And he showed me at a very young age, all the great things about construction, from the satisfaction of building something
Right.
yourself, to the financing, to everything that's involved in it. And I became a real estate broker when I was like 18, 19 years old. Well, actually, I became an agent, then I became a broker. And
Hmm.
one of the things I did in Philadelphia is I bought, fixed up, and sold, renovated, and sold houses as an investor. And I probably did over 600 houses in Philadelphia. And so that
600
just,
houses. Wow.
yeah, I know.
Okay.
Um, and that just naturally led into the construction. And one thing I found out about, being an investor is that the more you control the construction, the more you control profit. So,
Right. So
yeah,
what makes you the go-to guy for 2 or 3K projects?
well, that's what we specialize in. And the way I got into it was actually I was meeting an appraiser who was also a HUD consultant at one of the properties that I was flipping. And he told me that, hey, you should really look into this 203K. You do good
Hmm.
work, and you might be able to you should be able to do this for other people. And
Hmm.
so I pretty much, I didn't think much of it at the time, but within 2, 3 months, that kept ringing in the back of my head. And then before you know, I'm like, let me try this. And then after that, I was hooked. I was like, hey, this is a great product. It's a win-win-win. The buyer wins,
Hmm.
the contractor wins. Everybody wins in this scenario, in this situation. And you're buying a property, and actually during this process, I realized that as opposed to flipping it, if the buyer buys it and we fix it for them, we could actually invest more into the property. So it ended up being
Hmm.
just a natural process of growth
Right.
into the 203K and specializing in this as a contractor.
Right. Right. Now, the people usually say, I don't know, they call it hacking the system to buy
Mhm.
homes with little to no money.
Mhm.
Is that even possible, or is it just a clickbait?
It's a little bit of both. Okay. I mean, it
Right.
is possible. It is clickbait. The natural course for most investors is to start off and buy a house for yourself under a FHA program. But it's much better if you buy a duplex or a triplex because the other units can help pay for your mortgage. And you get a taste of what it feels like to be a landlord and and how to deal with those issues. And if you're successful with that, then you can start doing it for other properties. So it's sort of a hack, but you need to live in one of the units for I think for 1 year yourself. Then after that,
Right.
you can do whatever you want.
Right. Right. So, most people, but they usually want to get into a move-in ready house. Why would anyone want to buy a house that's falling apart?
Um, the biggest reason is you can get a great deal. um,
Right.
Especially when it's a seller's market. It's been a seller's market. It's been pretty much a seller's market for since COVID. It's
Hmm.
been up and down, but it's still a strong seller's market. And when you have that kind of seller's market, what happens is people are lined up to buy the best houses. Okay.
Hmm.
And I know this because of my brokerage background. And you can go out there and try and put a bid in for a house of a beautifully renovated, ready to go house. And you're one of 20 buyers trying to buy that house.
Yeah, the competition is crazy. Yeah.
Your competition is crazy. So, what better way to beat the system than going and finding not the nice fixed up house in the neighborhood, but the ugly house in the neighborhood,
Yeah.
the one that needs some work. And that seller doesn't have a line of 20 buyers trying to buy it.
Yeah.
And so therefore, you have a better chance of not only buying the house, but then you get to customize it the way you like. Pick your color carpets, your color tile, your color cabinets.
Right.
So that's a huge benefit of the program.
Right. So where's the limit? Can I like get a regular house and turn it into a mansion or something?
Well, the limit is set by FHA's mortgage rates or mortgage limits, and that's county by county. So, for example, New York, Brooklyn, they have a much higher ratio than, let's say, Cleveland, Ohio. All right, so it
Mhm.
goes by county. It's based on the living standard, how much it costs to live. So you can
Mhm.
check HUD and look for maximum mortgage loan limits. I think in Philadelphia, it goes above $1 million for a 4 unit building. So they're pretty high. Now, the way the program works is you can go up to that maximum loan limit. So let's say for a single family, let's just say, I don't know for sure, but let's say it's $600,000 for a single family in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Well, if you can buy a house for 300,000 and you put 200,000 into it, you're below the maximum mortgage limit. So you're fine.
Mhm.
So as long as you can purchase it and fix it up under that limit, you're going to be okay.
Right. Right. Now, I've also heard that a lot of people think that 2 or 3K loans are a trap, and a lot of other people have never even heard of it. Why do you think that is?
I think people haven't heard about it because it's a well kept secret. That's one
Right.
of the things that me and a couple of other people are trying just to bring awareness to it. That's why
Mhm.
podcasts, marketing, that's so important to make
Mhm.
everybody from agents to loan officers to buyers aware of this program that is great. But there's a few critical things to make a person's experience great when you're dealing with this program. Okay,
We were
three.
talking about the basics, and I was thinking if someone's never heard of a 2 or 3K loan, how would you describe it? How would you explain
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
yeah, I would describe it probably that it's a purchase money mortgage. So to purchase the
Mhm.
house, plus to fix up the house, plus some additional things you can finance, all rolled into one mortgage. So
Right.
traditionally, you would have to go and purchase the house. Then you'd have to go get a separate loan for the fix-up loan. That would be a much higher interest loan because it's in second position, be a lot more
Mhm.
expensive. Well, this FHA program has made it streamlined it into one loan, made it very simple, made it easy for somebody to qualify for it and get it. Um,
Right.
so it's the purchase plus the fix-up. Now,
And what are these terms? Full 2 or 3K and limited.
so a full 203K allows you to go above 75,000. It allows you to get as much construction money as you want, provided you're within your appraisal amounts. Okay. You can't go above
Okay.
110% of the appraisal. We'll talk about that later.
Mhm.
Under 75,000 is considered a streamline. The major differences between a streamline and a full 203K is that on a full 203K, you have to have a consultant, and that
Mhm.
fee can be financed in the financing of the project. But you need his consultant report, you need him to do the inspections. On a streamline, you do not need a consultant in most of the cases. And that's because a streamline is used for simple things like painting, maybe some new cabinets,
Right.
maybe some new flooring, not major construction. Now,
Mhm.
if you have a project that's less than 75,000, but it does contain some major construction, the underwriter or the lender could request that because there's some major structure going on here, we want a consultant on it. But for the
Right.
most part, a streamline is a smaller loan and it's a little bit of a faster process than the
Mhm.
203K full.
Right. Right. And not every house is like worth all of this, right? How would you find a house that's, I don't know, worthy of going through all of these steps with a 2 or 3K to get it and renovate it?
Well, again, that's going to be a lot on personal choice. Some people, I mean, you can pretty much use a 203K on almost any kind of a house, um, as long as you're going to do some changes. So that means carpeting, that means painting. You want to change the bathroom, you can do that no matter what style the house is in. It doesn't have to be a dilapidated house. That's another major thing that a lot of people think about. That hey, this house doesn't cannot qualify for a 203K. It can, as long as you're doing more than I think five or $10,000 worth of work. So you can make
Okay.
any property qualify for a 203K. Now, on the flip side, how bad can the property be? Well, the
Hmm.
rule is that you can tear down the entire house, but you have to keep the foundation. And as long as you keep
Right.
that foundation, you can rebuild that house. You can even keep that foundation, rebuild that house, and build an additional foundation as an addition to that house. So
Okay.
it's almost as good as building a new house, but technically you're not building a new house
Right.
because you have to have a foundation of an existing house there for it to qualify.
And you can design the whole thing however you like it. Like, can I have a jacuzzi on my rooftop and I don't know, stuff like that?
Well, jacuzzis, there's a few things that aren't financed in the program, and that's pools and
Hmm.
jacuzzis,
Right.
uh, and maybe some other crazy high-end numbers. Other than that, appliances, everything, and that's another big one. Just a set of appliances
Hmm.
for a kitchen, new set. You can use that to finance this. So if you're looking at a house that is a good house fixed up, but you want to put in, let's say, new appliances, paint the house, do some siding,
Hmm.
great program for it.
Right.
Um, but for a jacuzzi and pool, you cannot use the program to put in an in-ground pool or a
Hmm.
jacuzzi. However, if there's an existing pool there and it needs fix up or maintenance, you can use the program for that to fix an existing pool.
Right. Right. That is a lot of information. Can all contractors take over a 2 or 3K job? Can all of them manage a job like that?
Well, it is a lot of information, and you want a contractor who knows what he's doing. And that's one of the keys that we always tell people that putting together your 203K team consists of getting a consultant, getting a good lender, an agent who's familiar with it, and
Hmm.
the quarterback. The most important person in this whole process is your contractor. If you have a contractor
Hmm.
who is familiar with the process and knows what is going on and what to expect and what to do, it can make the experience extremely satisfying. However,
Right.
if you get somebody who, you know, says he does, but hasn't really done it in the past, you could get caught. One of the biggest things we do is takeover jobs. And this is jobs where the client got the wrong contractor halfway
Hmm.
through the project. The contractor bailed on them. Now they're stuck. No progress is being made. Their interest is building up. Their mortgage payments are month after month, and they are trying to get the property completed. And now
Hmm.
the contractor front loaded, maybe took too much money out of the project, and now they have a limited budget and they need somebody to help finish it.
Right.
And they end
Right.
up having to come out of pocket with money, and it takes them more time, spend more money, and that's what happens when you don't pick the right contractor. So that's why we always say the most important part is picking the right contractor. And that's why
Hmm.
we're certified as 2 or 3K contractors. We've got our certification, we've gone through this process, we've done many jobs, we do takeover jobs, and it's kind of what we specialize in, these type of renovation loans. And it makes a difference when you have a good contractor on your project.
Yeah. And you said you've done like 600 projects in this in industry. Like,
Yeah, I mean, in buying, fixing, and flipping over
yeah.
600, when it comes to 2 or 3Ks, somewhere around 100 and 150 houses we've done.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, I think a lot of people expect to move in their new house in like a few weeks. Is that realistic when it comes to, renovating a house with a 2 or 3K?
Even if you're just changing carpet and painting the house, 2 weeks is it's kind of unrealistic.
Right.
Um, I would say no. I mean, the process does takes, but again, it's the complication of your construction. Some construction is just a simple, carpet, paint. You don't even need permits for that. Okay. But then you get into construction where you do need permits. Okay. Maybe you're changing the plumbing around, so you need a plumbing permit, electrical permit.
Mhm.
That becomes a little bit more sophisticated. If you're doing additions, then you're going to need architectural drawings. You need zoning. You got to make sure check with
Right.
zoning. Everything's good. So it can become more and more complex. And of course, those jobs, it's not so much how fast the construction can get done. It becomes more how fast can we get the approvals for the permits, the architectural drawings, the zoning,
Right.
that good stuff. So
Right.
just depending on the township you live in and how fast you can expedite it, I would say on average for a renovation is probably about 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months, yeah, on
Mhm,
average.
mhm.
Okay, so let's go back again. Let's say I have found a house and I just got my loan. Now, what is the first step? What do I do?
If you uh, so you're saying that you just got the loan
I
approved
just
for
got the
two
loan.
or three,
Yeah.
you just got a 203K approval,
Yeah.
a pre-approval. Okay. So at that stage, you probably want to get in touch with a contractor like ourselves and let them know you're out there looking for a house. Now, we have a program for buyers, home buyers, where if you're going out there and looking at houses, you can take pictures and videos and send it to my estimator, my designer. They
Mhm.
will look it over and give you a roundabout figure. Okay. You can feel very comfortable that, okay, you have an idea of how much this renovation is going to cost you. You can submit a agreement, and based on that agreement, if you get it signed, then we can come in and do a more detailed estimate. You don't have to worry about being stuck in a contract with a 203K, because if the project, you have a contingency clause, a mortgage contingency clause that says that, hey, as long as you can get the mortgage, then this deal is valid. This agreement to sell is enforceable. But if you can't get the mortgage, then this deal is not enforceable and you get back your deposit. You don't have to worry about that. Well, if we come in and do a precise estimate and it is not feasible for you to buy this house, guess what? You don't qualify for the mortgage. So a 203K is, you got to know what you're doing. And that's why it's important to have a good agent. But you don't have to
Mhm.
really fear submitting an offer because of the nature of the 203K. You have to go through some process of estimates and due diligence and all that good stuff. It's almost like the time period of your home inspection is the same thing that's going on with a 203K, because
Right.
seller is not for sure until after that home inspection's done. Same thing with a 203K. Once we come through with a precise estimate, then you can feel confident to move forward with the agreement to sell.
Right. Now, I'm guessing you've seen a lot of people make a lot of mistakes over and over when it comes to 2 or 3K loans. What do you think is the number one thing that people get wrong?
The number one thing that people get wrong is not picking the right contractor, honestly. You know, uh,
Right.
if you don't pick the right contractor, you're going to be stuck. You can pick a bad consultant. You shouldn't. You can. Okay. Even the lender, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, even your realtor. But if your contractor really knows the program like we do, um, oftentimes we tell we push the consultants with us, okay? Or the lenders, sometimes we have to make sure that they do it by the book. Uh, but again, those people aren't going to come out and fix your house. The guy who's fixing your house is the contractor, and if you don't pick the right contractor, that could be a big issue as far as not having a good experience. And you want to have a good experience. There's no
Of
reason
course,
why
yeah.
you shouldn't. So again, I tell that to buyers across the United States: pick the right contractor.
Okay. Okay, now let's get to the investment side of the 2 or 3K loans. People usually look at renovation projects as an expense, something, expensive and luxury. But can you actually make money out of it? Can it be a,
Sure.
yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, I know what you're saying. So Is it a money pit? No, I've
Mm.
done it. One of the projects I did, let me see. A guy bought a two-story house in South Philadelphia, and it was a two-bedroom. We put a third floor addition on there. We made it a three-story, four-bedroom, two-bathroom, single-family row house. And it cost about, at that time, it cost about 200, as pre-COVID, about $200,000. So he had about $400,000 invested in it. When he moved in, he could sell that property for about 550. So he walked into a situation where he had instant equity. Okay, that's an
Right.
awesome feeling where, hey, you walk in and boom, right away you have instant equity of $150,000. So this is actually a good investment for some
Hmm.
people. Now, does that happen often, Mark? I won't say you're going to find that the majority of the time. Market conditions were just right. Things were going up. He bought at the right time. So there was just enough stuff. But you can walk into a house, owning some, having some equity if you buy
Hmm.
at the right price and get this thing fixed up. Right now, that's not the problem. In today's market conditions, the problem is people get burned out trying to buy a property because there's so many people going after the same property. And
Right.
that's the biggest frustration right now, in the real estate market. It's leveling out a little bit right now.
Hmm.
And so it's not as bad. In either market, seller's market, 203K is great. Buyer's market, 203 is great. You
Right.
can always, it might be a little bit, you might be in an equity position in a buyer's market, okay, than you would be in a seller's market. But it's always a great product to use in any kind of real estate market.
Right. Right. Now, if someone's listening right now and thinking like they're thinking, I want to do this right now, what's their next move? How can they
The next
start?
move is to most likely, depending on where they are in the buying process. And again, this program is not just for home buyers. This program is for homeowners as well. So if
Hmm.
you own your house, you can actually refinance and pay off your first mortgage and get enough construction money to fix up your house. So if you've been living in your house 5 years, 25 years, how many years you've been living there, you can get this, you can get a 203K refinance, and that goes just as smooth. Um,
Hmm. Right.
Now, as far as where should somebody start? Start with a good lender.
Hmm.
You want to probably find out about getting pre-approved and tell them, say, I really want to try and buy a property that I buy and fix up and renovate. So I'm really looking at the 203K and talk to your lender and see, what they can do for you. Once you get pre-approved, and again, you don't have to wait for that. Simultaneously, you can be looking for a contractor. And I'd say the biggest thing is trying
Right.
to find a good contractor. Um, you find a good contractor who's familiar with the product, then you can always find the consultant, always find the agent. But if you're looking to do this, you want to hook up with the contractor. But the place to start, contractor, any good contractor is familiar with this program, say, okay, how much did you get approved for? So you want to start with the lender.
Right. Right. Okay, I think that's all we had for tonight. And before we wrap up, where can our listeners find you if they want to start on their 2 or 3K journey?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the Philadelphia area and you're looking to do a 203K, we'd be glad to help you through the process. If you're a buyer looking to buy a house, just get in touch. You can reach us at Matrix, like the movie, Matrix, Matrix GC for general contractor.com. So that's matrixgc.com. And there you can fill out our questionnaire, and
Hmm.
either Nilu or one of our staff will get back in touch with you. And we will work with you closely. Like I said, you go out there and look at houses, just take the pictures, take the video. We'll send you a little introduction video that tells you how to take pictures and video for us to kind of be able to give you an estimate. And you send it right to us, and we can start working with you. And we'll work through you from beginning to end. We'll hold your hand all the way through the process.
Sounds awesome. Thank you, Robbie.
Yep, no problem. Thank you.
Okay.